Oh, welcome to another episode of The Growth Compass. Shout out to our sponsor, Senders. If you want to do email deliverability correctly, it's below our heads in the description, but without them, it would not be possible to interview cool people doing cool things like Adam. Welcome.
Thank you, Blake. It's amazing to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, this is super cool. From what I was just telling you, from what I could pull, from what I could gather in my deep research of Flowjam, I have not come across something that specifically focused on the problem that, to my understanding, that I think you're solving, and I think it's a really interesting way to solve that problem for founders and things like this. So, without spoiling it, for people that don't know yet, if you give a brief introduction of yourself and what you're building.
Yeah, I've sold to software companies, about a year ago, and spent the last 2 years growing and building this agency called Flowjam, where I work with founders from mainly AI companies and mainly the best AI companies, the fastest growing AI companies, to help their launch be more meaningful, help tell their story to the world, and ultimately just show their product in a visually appealing way that builds their brand and helps them punch above their weight. So like often these AI companies, they're small, they're not that established, but they put out one of these videos and it makes them look like a $500 million company, and that's ultimately my goal when working with these companies.
So then, before we get deeper into that specific the agency Flowjam, I think it would be awesome to get context into. So one of my questions is usually, is this your first company? And it's not. And so if you could take us through, just before you decided to start this company, what were the other two experiences? I mean, were you in school before then, or were you working on something? Did you have a full-time job like beforehand? What was the first company that you had built?
I've probably had 10 before this,
Okay.
but I say two successful companies.
Nice.
But I've had many failures, failed software companies, failed dropshipping stores, all of that. Tried everything. So yeah, it started in 2020 in lockdown. I started an Instagram account and grew it to 150,000 followers. It was one of the largest marketing pages on Instagram. I kind of pioneered the carousels at the time. If you remember, they used to be super popular. These like infographic style carousels that you would scroll through. So I had one of the biggest carousel accounts, and yeah, ran that for a year. Got it to 150,000 followers. Loved it. It was faceless, so no one really knew it was me behind it. And I was selling a course, but I wanted to turn it into an actual business. Course sales, my PayPal account would get blocked, and 1 month would be good numbers, 1 month would be like nothing. So I was like, I want something recurring. That was my goal. I want something recurring. So I started building a software company, designed pretty much primarily around the followers of my account. So I had creators and marketers and entrepreneurs following my account. I was like, how can I help them? So yeah, I decided I wanted this software company because I wanted recurring revenue. The problem was I wasn't a software developer, no experience, and not enough money to hire someone. So I faked it pretty much. I made a launch video. I made a website. I used Airtable, Zapier, and Webflow to build like a no-code hack-together solution. Launched on Product Hunt and I woke up the next day and to my surprise, I was number 5 of the day and had 600 people sign up.
Nice.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive. Number 5 of the day for a product that did not work. Like you could sign up and I think you'd have to wait like a couple minutes and then it would take you to some sort of screen, and it was not scalable at all. And then Webflow actually had a limit, a 10,000 CMS limit in the platform, and I knew I was going to have more than 10,000 users. So I contacted Webflow. I was like, can we get a higher limit? And they said no. So my dream of because the goal was to just build it myself with these kind of no-code tools. Webflow wasn't going to allow it. So yeah, I was kind of stuck. I didn't know what to do.
And what was it that people were signing up for? What was
the product? Yeah. It was, I called it your online homepage. It was kind of like in between a link in bio tool and a website for content creators. So was like a mini website for content creators. You could have your links on there, but you could also like sell digital products, sell courses, sell memberships, collect email addresses, send emails out. Because creators at the time, because I was a creator, I was primarily solving my own problem. I was using Linktree, I was using Mailchimp, I was using Gumroad to sell products, and I was connecting them all. I had like email list on Gumroad, email list on Mailchimp. Mailchimp was costing hundreds a month. Linktree didn't allow me to customize the design. I was like, no, I don't want any of this. I'm building an online homepage that can do all of this, that can kind of run my creator business from. So yeah, I was solving my own problem, and clearly other people wanted this solved as well. And there was a few competitors in the space at the time, but one of the main reasons that mine stood out was design. I'm a designer, so it visually looked way better than everyone else. And I think a lot of creators value design and visuals, so they signed up for that reason. But yeah, like I said, like after this kind of no code tool, after getting number 5 of the day, I had to go to the drawing board and think of another way of kind of getting the product. And I bought a kind of a SaaS starter template kit from Invato Elements. So you buy like this like pre-coded thing, and then you can customize it, and that saved me thousands of dollars when hiring a developer. So after that, I hired a developer, and I gave him this kind of kit that I bought for like $79.
Wow.
And I designed the screens in Figma, and I said, customize the kit to look like my screens. And without that, like he would have had to build from scratch. It would have cost me an extra a couple thousand at least that I didn't have. So I'm pretty sure I spent like $250 on this developer, just like tweak it, customize it.
Yeah.
And then actually I spent 3 months building it with the developer.
Okay.
So maybe it was more than $250. I can't remember. But spent 3 months kind of customizing this template that I bought, and launched to my Instagram account finally after 3 months. Because before this, I didn't launch the no code version to my Instagram account, and that was kind of the whole thing. So yeah, I launched to my Instagram account, and it does amazing. Creators with millions of followers start switching, and also just having the Instagram account to kind of DM these big creators to get them to switch made it so much easier. Like I had that credibility already. So yeah, pretty much every big creator in the kind of marketing entrepreneur space knew about the product. It was called Zapper.ai. Got them to switch pretty easily, and very quickly got to 100,000 users. And we were free for the whole year. Go ahead.
And you didn't want, like your goal with that was to sell it at some point, like you didn't want to continue growing that or turn it into a more stable business or something?
Well, I think the goal was to kind of turn my Instagram account that I built into recurring revenue.
I see. Yeah, okay.
I didn't really think about selling the company at any point. I just wanted recurring revenue. So
okay, nice.
About a year into this, I had it was free for the first year, which was probably a mistake, but also it was a selling point. We were free. But yeah, about a year in, we add a $9 a month plan and finally start to get that recurring revenue. But I had no thoughts of selling the company, and I just wanted recurring revenue.
Yeah. Okay. And so then you accomplished that, and then at some point you decided to sell it.
Yeah. So this is 2021, 2022. Grow it for 2022, 2023, 2024, and then the mid last year, start to get the idea of like maybe I want to sell this. I think it was around the bubble of like AI. Like AI is taking off, so it just makes it it was kind of demoralizing to be building anything other than AI, right?
Okay.
You kind of lose the passion. It's like, why would I work on this SaaS tool when I could go build an AI tool?
Yeah.
Me and my co-founder, I had a co-founder, kind of lost passion. We weren't really working on it anymore. We were just floating, and we're like, we need to sell it before it just sinks.
Nice.
So we sold it. There's so many stories I could tell from over the time. Like we spoke to Linktree, their co-founders about an acquisition, Beacons, Mr. Beast. Like the conversations and just like some of the stories from running that software company were amazing. But yeah, ultimately sold it to like a serial entrepreneur in February of this year.
Well, congrats! That's awesome. So I think something that would be really interesting to somebody that's hearing that story is like that very first piece. Like I think the decisions that you made after establishing that Instagram account came because of the Instagram account was kind of the anchor for everything. So how did you get that? Like, what was the experience of getting that account from zero to 150K?
A lot of work, a lot of work. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It was lockdown, and I had nothing else to do. So yeah, literally every morning, I would make a post. Um, Wake up early, make a post from scratch, and it wasn't just like a basic post. These were like some of the best content on Instagram, if I say so myself. Like genuinely, like strategy. Like because I was posting like Instagram growth strategies or like marketing strategies, and yeah, like the page is still up. You can see it. Like the comments were every time just saying like, how did you think of this? This is brand new. Like I wasn't just like copying and making kind of generic content. Like I really focused on pushing the boat out and making content that people had never seen before. Even just the design. I spent so much time making these posts feel like a piece of art. And like you scroll through and the details were a lot. The content was insightful. So yeah, number one, the content was genuinely amazing. Like yeah, even now I'll scroll back on my content and be like, how did I think of that? That was amazing. And then number two, just a lot of work, a lot of connections. So every day I'd spend at least 2 hours leaving comments and engagement on other people's posts, basically just spraying my profile everywhere on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you go on any of these other kind of big profiles, you see my comment there, and I'd always like set notifications on and try to like post a comment first so that I get pinned. So that's like at least 2 hours a day. Obviously, making the content every day. I was posting every day, and then yeah, guest posts were a big one. So I'd build relationships with bigger people in the industry. 500K, a million followers. Build that relationship, and then offer to do like a guest post where I tell them I'll make a post for you to post on your Instagram, and you just have to credit me. But like I'll make you like a genuinely good piece of content to post for free. Post it. I'll make it in your style if you want, and then just say this was a guest post by Adam. Like just give me credit.
Nice. Yeah.
So those are like the three main things. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, a lot of just manual labor, and I'd say the number one thing is good content. If I wasn't posting good content, I wouldn't have grown it.
Well, so good transition to Flowjam. But I had a question first for you personally, like as a human on this planet. Like, what is entrepreneurship for you? Because it sounds like you've been doing it just naturally for a long time. So why? What has it been to you? Like, why is it something that you've always been doing? What has your experience been with it now that you've scaled that company and yeah? So what does it mean to you, entrepreneurship?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is like I want to create something of value. I have no interest in starting a get quick rich scheme, crypto, anything like that. I don't care for. It's less about the money. I genuinely want to create something of value. I'm more of a creative, if anything, than an entrepreneur. Like I love building something. Like it's almost like a piece of art. And obviously, if I can make money at the same time, then it's amazing. But the number one thing is I want to create something of value and something of the highest quality level. Even like with Flowjam, I'm not trying to compete with these other agencies. I'm not trying to compete on price. I'm not trying to systemize it so much and just churn out videos. Our number one goal as a company, as an agency, is make the highest quality videos, and that's it.
But so is there something specific to you about like the opportunity that entrepreneurship gives you to be able to do that versus working for a company or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this definitely recently. When you're working for a company, you've got people that different ideas. You're going to be told that it's not feasible. We need to do this for costs. We need to save time. We need to just get it out there. You're going to have meetings about everything, and then more meetings. So yeah, entrepreneurship. Like if you have full control, then you can pursue any goal you want. And if that goal is quality, then that's great.
So then, Flowjam, can you give again, like the base description of what it is?
Yeah, and I can also kind of go into how I started that, because you'll see all these companies link. So I was launching the software company on Product Hunt and wanted one of these product launch videos, right? And I was a designer at the time. I designed the whole platform. So I thought, let me just teach myself the motion side, the animation side, and make it myself. So I did that. And similar to when I launched the software company, when I launched this video, people are messaging me, "Where did you get that video made from? Like, that's an amazing video." It was like it was different from all the videos out there. It was kind of funny. The design was different. It felt almost like an Apple kind of video. Um, and yeah, I was like, if I've got all these people messaging me, I should offer this as a service. So that kind of slowly led into Flowjam, building it as an agency.
So you've been
It
doing it on
was
the side for a while.
yeah. That it's been at one time I was running three companies, two software companies and Flowjam. So yeah, it's never been my only thing.
But then it turned into your only thing about this year.
Yeah, February when I sold Zap, my software company, Flowjam became, well, I say my only thing. I mean, I've got a few other things on the side, but
Yeah, sure. Well, well, so what has been your experience with Flowjam then? Like how let's say the first thing that I'm curious about is how has the product or how has what Flowjam is, how has
mm,
that changed over the course of launch the company to where you're at now?
yeah, yeah, it's been a journey and done all sorts of things. Like at first, I was playing with the idea of just trying to get the lowest possible costs and almost turning it into like a software company, where I thought like if I can productize and systemize the video creation process enough, and manage to like outsource it, then it's almost like a software company where people can come and buy a video, and within 24 hours they get their video and it's completely productized. But I realized that's kind of just like a race to the bottom. So I pivoted, and I've gone through multiple pivots. And my most recent pivot was probably about a month ago, where I'm becoming more of like a creative partner for software companies. So I want to do more than just their launch video. I want to go to their office. I want to make their website. I want to film them, all of that. And that's been super successful so far, even just in the month that I've launched it. But yeah, so I've gone through multiple pivots. And at first, yeah, well, it was also tricky because, like I said, I taught myself the motion. So I wasn't a motion designer. I didn't know all the software as much as other animation agencies. So I had to like compete on a different level. I couldn't compete on having the best animations. It wasn't possible. So I would compete on the best storytelling, the cleanest design of the storyboards, the best sound, like the best song choices, just like all these other things that ultimately worked. Like my video stood out, and I've grown just based on word of mouth, like people seeing videos and being like, "Where did you get that video made from?" Yeah, but I was never the best animator, so it forced me to kind of compete on these different areas.
So you've taken that initial specific angle of launch
Mm-hmm.
videos
Yeah.
and you've grown away from that. So just so then let's take that because like I said, I think it's an interesting. I've never seen it like focused on the launch video before. So
Mm-hmm.
so before you made the pivot, then what were your experiences with people? I mean, you had your own experience as far as that on Product Hunt and that video and stuff. But what were some of your other experiences that made it really clear that the quality or the amount of impact
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that this type of launch video can have on a
Yeah,
company?
I think it was after I made a video for this one company. My friend saw the video on his Instagram feed, and like he shows me, he's like, "Wait, you made this video, right?" And it was kind of that point I was like, "What? Yeah, I made that video." And I found out like that it had like $1 million put behind it in terms of ads. So clearly it was a good video. It worked. Um, but yeah, I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, I actually did something right there. Like they put $1 million behind my video.
Well, so when a founder is so then that specific video was around a product launch. So is there something that is different about like a product launch or a company launch video versus like a brand story video or something that's like thorough like that, or just a video that you would make and put on social media channels? Like, is there something distinct about it?
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I think a big part of these launch videos is the problem segment, um, where you know, kind of more importantly than the solution, like is making the problem clear. Like, why should I even care about this? And that's like the first 10 seconds. And like that was something that I did amazing in all of the videos I made, where it really made you feel the problem. Like even with the sound effects, like I took inspiration from game design and used game sound effects and like the feeling of like game over, the feeling of like losing at a game, to really make that 10 seconds like feel like I need this solution. So yeah, that was the main difference with one of these launch videos. Also with the launch videos, you want it to perform well on social media. So naturally having that kind of problem as a hook makes it perform better on social. You don't want to post it and get 10 views. And also like having it as like a brand asset. A lot of these launch videos go on the website. So it's got to be high quality. It's got to, like I said, make it look like you're punching above your weight. And a lot of these other animation, you picture like a video that you get on Fiverr, you can tell you got it on Fiverr, and that's not a brand asset. You don't want that on your homepage. Even if it does well as paid ads, you don't want it on your homepage, if that makes sense.
Is there like are there multiple points in a company where they're doing launch videos? Like, are we talking about launch videos for like new updates, new products, like new additions of a particular asset that they've created? Like, or is it only about like at the beginning of the company when they're when they're
Yeah,
launching?
I think there are multiple points. Sometimes like even just a new feature can require a launch video, or like funding. You just raise a couple million, you want a launch video. And then, yeah, I mean, sometimes like I'll make videos more designed for paid ads, and that's different. That's not a launch video. So it's not like, if a company isn't launching, they can't get a video made. But the focus is definitely on launch videos. And it started with Product Hunt launch videos. Like I had a partnership with Product Hunt in the early days, where I was kind of like, you want a video for your Product Hunt launch, go to Flowjam. So that was kind of just like my niche.
So then after you pivoted, you said you're becoming more of like a creative partner.
Hmm.
What is so if there's like a founder
Hmm.
that comes across this video, is listening to the conversation, what are the most common ways that founders um I mean, I don't want to say misinterpret, I don't want
Hmm.
to say like I don't know, like what are the most common misconceptions, maybe, if that's the right word, that founders have about what it means to be sufficiently
Hmm.
creative, or do justice to the creative side of marketing, sales, or whatever we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think like we can start to see this shift already, where it's like design and taste is becoming an even more important aspect of these startups. Like as the cost of coding with AI goes to zero, or not zero, but like gets a lot cheaper. You can kind of spin up an app with AI almost instantly now, and we've started to see like these startups, or just software companies in general, um, the salaries of the designers are starting to match the salaries of the best engineers, and there's almost a shortage of designers. Um, so I think, yeah, software companies are valuing creativity and taste a lot more, especially in this sea of AI generated stuff. You think of a company like Perplexity, and how they really killed the visual style of their brand. Like you can picture Perplexity instantly with their artwork, or even Claude. They take design very seriously, and that's allowed them to stand out. Yeah, so I think we're starting to see it, and even just going forward, like this is going to become more and more of a priority for software companies, and I think it's going to become harder and harder for them to actually find that kind of creative person. Yeah,
Well,
sorry, go
right, and
ahead.
so that's kind of where I was coming from. Is like when you're speaking to these founders
Mhm.
and they're talking about their marketing or their creative. Are there common ways? Are there common things that people typically, or common ways that people approach this that are not that not doing justice?
Mhm.
What are some ways that they can think about it differently that would help them, uh, you know, uh, do their creative better?
Mhm. Well, I think the main thing is like sometimes founders won't care. Like if they're a technical founder, they might just not care about how their brand is presented, or the style, or like a high quality launch video, and you can only do so much to convince them. But I think the market is kind of adapting, and will make it clear to those founders that like no, taste does matter.
Mm.
A high quality launch video, high quality website, um, just everything high quality in terms of creativity and taste, it matters more than ever. And I think the market is showing that, and founders will pick up on that. So yeah, I've
So
never really had to like convince. Yeah.
okay, nice. With Flowjam specifically, is there what right now would you say is the biggest hurdle, and how is it also an opportunity?
Mm. Probably AI generated videos in terms of like Sora, and probably like navigating, because like I said, I want to make the highest quality videos, but then also AI does present a massive opportunity of like speeding things up. So just balancing like where does AI actually help us with our goal of making higher quality videos, and we don't just get trapped or like tricked into switching our processes to be AI, because it is now possible to use AI, but it means quality drops a little bit, because it's very tempting to like, it's getting to a point with AI that it could make a good launch video that looks like it was animated, and I could probably get away with it. So that's been tempting, but I think it's just like staying focused. No, that's not actually higher quality videos. So even if it's cheaper, even if it saves time, even if we can make it instantly, we don't want to go that option, because like that's not going to last. Like if everyone can make a super not high quality, but like a good launch video with AI, then the only way of actually standing out is not getting tricked into that, and still going after hiring better animators, launching, developing new styles, getting 3D artists, getting the most talented designers, improving our sound design, getting high quality voiceover artists, storytellers, all of these other things, that just keeping that as our focus, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Have you seen a video generated by AI where you're like, wow, that was high, that was high quality?
I have actually in the last week. An AI generated video, and I was like, "Is this from like was this a launch video from X?" And they're like, "No, it's AI." I was like, "That's impressive." So yeah, like I feel like more and more companies are going to start, using AI for these kind of animated videos.
One of my favorite questions that I like to round out the conversations with was, in everything that you've experienced and everything that you're building with Flowjam and everywhere that you're going and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what inspires you to keep building.
It's a good question. I think it comes from a place of wanting to create more than I consume. And I think if I can get paid for that as well, that's great. But I think it comes down to just wanting to create something of value, something. Um, someone can watch a video and be like inspired by it. Helping startups like tell their story. I think when I see like a bad website or just a cheap video, like it actually makes me angry. Like I'm not inspired by it. Like we used to make buildings that look beautiful, and now we just make like concrete,
That's a
manufactured.
good one.
I don't want to live in that world. I want to live in a world where we have inspiring things, and like crafted, like people have put their time and energy into things. I mean, and there's a balance. Like obviously, we've also got to get the videos out quick enough. Got to pay the bills, and like sometimes you got to make it optimized for X or Y. But at the end of the day, it's like just we need some people that still value high quality creativity.
Well, thanks for being one of them.
I'm trying.
Well, if there's anyone else that was inspired to follow along with your journey, Flowjam, what's the best way to do so?
You can follow me on X. I don't post that often. Or flowjam.com is my website, but I'd say X, at the Adam Petty. Sometimes I'll post my designs on there, and maybe I'll start posting more, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, Adam, thank you so much. I'm excited to keep in touch and see where that goes.
Blake, so thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Awesome. There you got it, man. See you.
Awesome. Take care. Bye bye.